I don't think it was this bad last year in July when we were four below 500. Today, the people that I'm seeing lots of people saying they want Scott Servais fired. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they are just done watching this baseball team. Like, Drew, I want to hear your takes. So I have two hot takes. I mean, I don't know how hot they are. A lot of people agree with these takes, so maybe they're not hot takes.
Is this your
Maybe
opinion or is this just
these
what
are
you've been
people that I've seen. So first off, Drew, there was a poll that I saw today on Twitter from I believe his name is Trident True. He's got like a couple thousand followers. And this poll got like hundreds of responses. It was, should we fire Scott Servais? And the overwhelming answer, 67% said yes.
hearing?
Drew,
Wow.
I said no. I want to hear your take.
Um, there's an obvious. The answer is no. And
Yeah,
long
right.
story short, however, if this continues into July, August, you're sitting 10, 15 games below 500. That's when you can maybe start to, excuse me, convince me a little bit. But right now, we are 12 games into the season. If the Mariners go 4-8 in a random couple weeks in late July after doing great things for a few months, no one would be talking about this at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly.
It's again, there's also a catch 22 because we haven't had those few months of good baseball. We've only seen 12 games, and in those 12 games, the Mariners have looked really, really bad, not well coached, not able. The starters haven't really had an approach. Top of the lineup hasn't been great. A lot of things definitely to point to in, to why maybe Scott Servais isn't doing a good job right now. But you got to look at the track record. Scott Servais helped lead this team to a playoff series a couple years ago. Last year, he was dealt some tough cards. I think Scott Servais isn't the best coach in the world, but at the end of the day, I think baseball is one of the least sports affected by the head coach. There's so much like you watch basketball. I mean, freaking UConn pretty much won a national championship off the back of Dan Hurley. I mean, that's how important a head coach is in basketball. In football, Pete Carroll and the Mike Macdonald switch, that is huge. Mike Macdonald is going to completely change the makeup of the Seahawks in 2024.
Right.
If you fire Scott Servais and you bring in a new guy, what really changes? Like, what really changes? At the end of the day,
Especially mid-season.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, JP Crawford still has to put bat to ball, guys. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Scott Servais doesn't do that for JP Crawford. I'm pretty sure that's Crawford. What? The new guy's going to magically give JP a magic hitting wand and all of a sudden he's going to be hitting 350? No. I mean, that's silly. Like, to put all the blame on Scott Servais is blasphemy. It doesn't make any logical sense. Can you maybe point to a few things? Sure, but there hasn't been a moment where it's like, oh, he should have taken Kirby out after 6, and then they blew up in the 7th, or what are we doing playing Ty France 7 games in a row and then he gets hurt? Like, that hasn't happened. The Mariners
Yeah.
haven't played well. Like, they straight up haven't played well, and I don't think that's on Scott Servais 95%. I think it's on the players.
Yeah, I mean, you can point to it and be like, well, we start slow every year. Maybe that's his fault. But it's like, okay, at the same time, the past 3 years we started slow and then we overcame the slow start. You don't think he plays a role in motivating the team? Like,
Yeah.
somebody has to be that motivator. And from what I can see, he has
Yeah.
been pretty good. He's done a pretty good job of motivating the team so that to get out of the slow starts and to get out of their slumps. So we've seen it happen 3 years in a row. Maybe if it doesn't happen for a fourth year, then we can talk about that. But it's way too early. But yeah, a lot of fans right now are done with him. The other thing I'm seeing a lot today, Drew, is what happened to Luke Raley, right? We traded for him and we hyped him up. He's going to be this big acquisition. He's going to be playing most days in the outfield, playing some first base. He's going to bring some thump to the lineup, bring some speed to the lineup. So far, he has started only 5 of the 12 games. He is hitting 150. What is going on with Luke Raley? Are the Mariners, have they given up on Luke Raley this early? And if that is the case, was that a bad trade? I'm seeing a lot of takes on Twitter, and I'm kind of gravitating towards the camp of like, I kind of do want to see what we can get out of Rayleigh. Maybe if they're like, okay, Canzone is playing well in left field and Haniger's playing well in right field. Let's give Mitch Garver a day off at DH then, and let's give Haniger a day at DH and play Rayleigh in right. Like, It's not that there's not a spot for him. When half
Yeah.
the lineup isn't hitting, you can find a way to put Luke Raley in there as well. But it seems like we're not even trying. So what's your take on that?
Well, first of all, I disagree with you. I think the primary reason that Luke Raley isn't playing is because there isn't a spot for him. And you point to maybe playing him in front of Mitch Garver. Well, you can make the same case for Mitch Garver then. Like, oh, well, Mitch Garver has to get going at some point. We got to play Mitch Garver.
Well,
So,
he has been playing. So I'm just saying, like, you can work him in, like you can give Garver an off day here and
yes,
there.
yes. Okay, fine. If you want to see Rayleigh one every 4 games play DH, I'm all for it. Maybe they could do that. And I
But you
think
can
probably
also give Mitch Haniger off days because he's going to need them.
I agree. I think they should, but Mitch Haniger's our best one of, if not our best hitter right now. We're
Right.
trying to win baseball games.
Sure. He's our best hitter, but also like
We'll ride the
would you
hot hand while the
rather
hand's hot, you
would you
know?
rather Haniger play 6 games a week in April and then not be able to play after April? Or would you rather he play 4 games a week through the whole season?
Hey, when your 3-point shooter is making shots, you keep the guy in and you keep letting him shoot. And that's my mindset. You don't bench Mitch Haniger now and let him get cold. And
Yeah.
I understand the injury argument, but how much longer are you going to get a pre-2019 Mitch Haniger? I mean, he's playing like that right now. He's playing really, really well. You have Mitch Haniger right. You have Canzone in left and Julio in center. So Julio's playing bad, but you can't bench Julio. So let's get that out of the way.
Right,
Then
exactly.
you have Canzone in left and Haniger in right. And unfortunately for Rayleigh, they've played a lot better than him. Like,
Yeah.
not just a lot better than him, they've been some of our best hitters. So then it puts Scott Servais in an interesting spot where it's like the offense isn't getting going. Do I play like Luke Raley, who's at the end of the day just a guy, just to hope he gets going, or do I try to get this Mariner team some wins early in the season and kind of turn this outlook around by keeping the hot hands in Mitch Haniger and Dom Canzone? I think that's the bigger deal. Is not necessarily Rayleigh's performance; it's the performance of the other players around him. You could argue he can play some first, from what I've heard, but Ty France has been playing really well until today. So it's like, unfortunately, all the positions that are kind of up in arms, like shortstop, center field, catcher, shorts or second base, third base, all of those spots, guys are playing really well. I do think I do where I will agree with you is I like him playing DH once every 3 or 4 days. I do think that should happen. And I think he should probably start in the outfield once every 3 days. So when you combine those, I think we should see him in the starting lineup about 50% of the time. And I think that gives him adequate amount of opportunities to perform. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's kind of the path moving forward for Rayleigh. And if he breaks out of the slump, he breaks out of the slump. And if he turns into a bad trade and Caballero hits for 600 and goes to the Hall of Fame, so be it. I think it was a good trade at the time. And at the end of the day, Dipoto does trades at the time. He does not have a crystal ball. And I think everyone at that moment agreed that the Mariners won that trade. And maybe, unfortunately, we might not see the same way in a year's time. But you can't always blame a GM for not seeing the future. They have to make decisions based off what they can do in the moment. And that's kind of my take on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is you can give Garver 1 day off a week, you can give Haniger 1 day off a week, you can give France 1 day off a week, and you can give Canzone 1 day off a week, and all of a sudden you got Rayleigh playing 4 games. But I guess like you also said, he hasn't hit anything yet, so maybe you don't want him playing 4 games. I'm saying I want to see this guy play. We traded for him for a reason, right? We thought he was going to be something, so let's see it. But I don't know. I'm just saying when you got half the lineup not hitting, I don't
Yeah.
really care that he's hitting 150. It's like, okay, well, so is Polanco, so is Julio, so is JP. They all suck right
Balance.
now.
It's a
So
balance for sure.
let's just see. Let's see. I don't know.
It's a
It's a
balance.
bummer of a situation we found ourselves in.
Yeah. Samad Taylor went down a couple of days ago. You kind of breezed over that your last post game show. He was playing pretty well. I thought that maybe he
Yeah.
would have had a chance to stay up, but
Well, I'll say
obviously,
I think I might be the podcaster with the least love for Samad Taylor. I'm seeing a lot of these podcast guys from the Mariners who are really, really sad that he left. And it speaks to just how desperate I think we are for something, right? Just like like the guy came in and had one hit and five and four at bats or something like that, and he solo base and he scored a run and he had like a bunt single or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
like fans are really, really kind of sad that he's gone. It's like I feel you though. Like I get it. It definitely kind of speaks to where we're at right now as a fan base.
Yeah, you used one word in that soliloquy that I thought was, kind of evident of this whole season, and that is desperation.
Yeah.
In tomorrow's game against the Blue Jays, it's desperation time to try to steal a game and not have this series be a complete waste. Then go in to the Cubs series and try to steal a couple of those and start to turn this season around. You cannot let this sinking ship go down. You have to turn it around now. You have to bail water. And right now, you're going to be fine. But if you don't start bailing water by, a couple weeks from now, who knows? It's time to get going.
When do you
It's
hit the panic button,
desperation.
Drew?
I hit the panic button on the team, like, because George, Kirby, and Castillo, like, I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet, but if a
Yeah.
couple more, and I'm like, what's happening?
I
Especially,
was yeah. What record? Because for me, I'll say this. For me, it's 8 below. If we're 8 below, that's when I'm gonna start actually getting worried. What's yours? Because right now we're halfway there.
if in our first 50 games, so there's a
Yeah.
long way still to go, but I think that's kind of where I can adequately share my opinions on this team is at about 50 games.
Yeah.
I think if we are 10 below after
Okay.
50 is where I start to get concerned.
So I'm a little bit closer than you because I said this morning, I said if we're 8 below through 40. So you're
Okay.
taking it 10 games more and
Yeah.
two more. So yeah, I mean, we're about the same.
We're really
We're
close.
not
Yeah.
neither of us are panicking yet. And maybe that's just because we've seen the story before. I mean, we've seen them be really bad and then all of a sudden magically they get better. But you know what I am concerned about is if the Mariners fans lose faith and stop showing up to games and stop supporting this team, then I'm worried the team is going to feel that and lose the energy. And especially with Gino's not there anymore to be that good vibes type of guy. And I think I said when we traded him, I think that's going to be a huge loss, just his vibes in the dugout. But I don't know. I would say that because I think last year and the year before, fans kept watching even despite the losing because they were excited about the young players. They were excited about Julio and Kirby and Gilbert and all these young guys. And I think now some of that newness has kind of worn off on fans. And now they want to see wins or they're not going to watch. And I hope that the fans will not give up because like I'll say if I was in Seattle right now, I'd be going to all the games. I'm not, unfortunately, and neither are you. But
Yeah. I'd be doing
um,
the same thing.
there's a
So
lot of people in Seattle who should be hopefully attending these games, and I'm very interested to see the Cubs series. I want to see the ratio of Mariners fans to Cubs fans because we should not get ratioed by the Cubs fans. I know there's a lot of Cubs fans. I know they're a popular franchise. They've been around for a long time. The Mariners, if we get ratioed by Cubs fans this weekend, we have a problem.
yeah, we do.
That's like that then we're starting to go into like the Angels level where it's like fans are we don't want the fans to lose faith.
Yeah. It's starting to become desperation time, folks, but that's about all the time we have left on the NW Sportscast. Tomorrow game against the Blue Jays, trying to win one back after dropping two straight against the Blue Jays. And, what is it? 7 of the last 8 at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. 6 of the last 7 games. So
Yeah.
not good stuff at all. Let's see if the Mariners can turn around this ship. That's about all we got. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end of the video. We are doing a post game every single day. 162. Haven't missed one yet. Turn on those notification bells. Come back every single day after the Mariners to hear our thoughts. And we really do appreciate it. We're starting the grind with or without you. But if you want to hop on, that'd be great. And
Exactly.
that's about all I got, Levi.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. And once again, guys, as always, go Mariners. I know it's hard to root for them sometimes, but if you're watching this channel, my guess is that you are a Mariners fan. So that's your team. We gotta support. Don't lose faith because it's not that fun when you stop believing. And we're only 12 games in, And like I said, feel like a broken record, but until we're like significantly into the season, we're just gonna have to keep repeating that phrase. It's early, and it is. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Gonna have some more Seahawks content coming at you guys as well. And with all that being said, go M's.